How's it going, everybody? I'm Driftwood. In this episode, we're going to narrate Yanfly's comics. The first one got a decent response, so I think I'll continue and narrate them all, probably once a week or so. This is going to be episode 2, where we look at Let's Make a Database, and I'm going to put a link in the description below where you can go if you want to read them yourself. And I'll put a link for the video version where it's just, scrolling through them and you can read them as the video plays, or a link to this website where you can come through and just read them yourself if you want to. If you would like to listen to me terribly narrate them, thank you for watching, and let's get to it. So this is Yanfly's episode 2 of his comics. This is Let's Make a Database, and in this episode, Ralph's quest to make a game continues, but this time he's encountering one of his greatest foes, the database, and you can read the comic. Here we go. In this first scene, we've got Ralph working on his game, and Flying Dream coming in right here. So this is going to take off right where the last episode left off. And here we go with Ralph. Hey, Flying Dream, I got a quick question. Sure, Ralph, ask away. Hi there. Last time, Yanfly helped me with creating the game structure for the RPG, but after that, I'm kind of lost as to where I should even go from there. Do you have any idea? That's a good question. There are still a ton of things left to do. Things like mapping, battles, characters, cutscenes, and most importantly, databasing. Not databasing, anything but that. That's the most boring part about RPGMMV. I hate doing database work. Well, maybe we don't have to do the database just yet. Database work is just so tedious, and figuring out what to do with what takes way too long. Well, maybe we should go see Yanfly to see what we should work on next. It's almost time for a new lesson on RPG Maker anyway. I hate my life. Today, we'll be working on the database. And a typical approach. And that's why I dislike doing any kind of database work. I see. But I must ask, how do you go about filling in the database? I just sort of fill it in as I go, whatever comes to mind. Again? Is everything in this game just made up on the spot? Style of gameplay. Well, maybe we should focus on the style of gameplay first for the RPG. No worries. I've already decided that for you. Well, we'll be making a standard JRPG dungeon crawler. Yay, those are fun. But that's so boring. I want to make a game with a nice battle system, custom character creation, tons of classes, lots of mini games like fishing and lockpicking. Ralph, I'm beginning to see why you never got even close to finishing your game now. The typical dungeon crawler. I picked the JRPG dungeon crawler since that's one of the easiest types of games to begin making. I can see that. They're pretty straightforward, so it'll be harder to get sidetracked when making. That's right. And it falls in line with our game structure format we've planned out in Lesson 1. I guess there's just no way of getting out of doing the database then. So what was this about? Split up the work. Don't fret too much, Ralph. Even though we're doing database work, we're only doing skills. Oh, is that so? Databasing can take a while, so we'll be splitting it up across the lessons. Guess that would make it more tolerable too. So let's get started by making some template skills. Let's do it. But aren't templates useless? They aren't even used in the product. Must you disagree with every single thing, Ralph? Save some time. We'll be making templates because they'll be helping us save time by being more efficient. Let's say there was a woodcutter trying to saw down a large tree with just a handsaw. If he were to go straight to sawing it down, he'll cut down the tree in 8 hours. But if he spends 1 hour to sharpen his saw, he can cut down the tree in 4 hours instead. As a result, by spending 1 hour, he'll be able to save himself 3 hours of work, 3 hours worth of time working. By making template skills, we'll be able to sharpen our saws to cut down the time spent. Yanfly, we're making the database, not cutting trees. Analogies don't work with you, huh? He just completely missed the point. 3 main skill functions. Skills boil down to 3 main functions in most JRPGs. Alter the parameters, alter states, and alter the environment. By altering parameters can be something like damaging a unit, healing a unit, or altering the unit's stats. Altering a state will fall in line with buffs, debuffs, poisoning them, making them invulnerable, damage over times, etc. Altering the environment will result in a possible change in how the game is played, too. A basic template. From those 3 main functions, they can be split between internal and external categories. And you can see a graph right here. Internal, external is these 2. And then parameter, states, and environments are on this axis. And then if internal parameters, healing, external parameters, damage, internal state, buff, external state, debuff, and so forth and so on. Now let's go ahead and make some template skills using each of those aforementioned 6 categories. But before we make more skills using these templates, we'll use them as the baseline for future skills down the road. So that way, all the skills in the game will be more uniform and balanced without wasting too much time on them. Right. Ralph's been doing it the wrong way for weeks and weeks on end. Damage skill templates. This template skill will also benefit from having a cost that will be used as the bare minimum cost all damage and healing skills will have. I also recommend setting the variance to 0% and critical hits to no for the template damage and healing skills. That's going to make it a lot easier. Variance makes it hard to gauge how effective a parameter altering skill is in battle accurately. Setting it to 0% will reduce a lot of the RNG factor. RNG is also known as a random number generator. I bet that saves a lot of time when balancing skills too. Wasting time can hamper development quite a bit, too. That's right. Please! Poor Ralph. He's been going about the whole process wrong. State skill templates. When making template skills for states, I personally like to stick with just poison and HP regeneration as the default states. And just like before, to save time and reduce the random factor, give these states a 100% success rate. That way they'll always land. Otherwise, you'll be getting headaches from trying to land those states during the testing phase. Yes, that makes a lot of sense. Why won't you just land, you stupid statistic? Those are some bad memories. Environment skills. Yanfly, how do skills that affect the environment work? I hardly ever make those in my game. Well, for the template skills of those, have them linked to a common event for both the player-based and surrounding-based categories. Those common events would be used to make things happen, like make the player emit light in a dark room or light up a torch. Skills could do that, and without any plugins? Ralph, you can do a lot of things without any plugins. I wonder if he even looked at what an RPG Maker can do. Mass production. It's not a bad idea to make template skills for damage skills in different tiers, too, with a standard minimum power and cost. Template skills that alter states can be made into more templates with modifiers that affect a single target versus multiple targets. Then, a simple copy and paste here and there will let you generate entire skill libraries within minutes. Whoa, that's fast. Oh, nice. But then, all the skills are too similar to one another. It'd be like the Final Fantasy games with Fire, Fyra, Fyraga. Basics first, details later. I'm sure that these skills aren't finalized anyway, hence the name template skills. Tweaking skills. Once these template libraries are made, you can tweak each skill individually with minimal effort to make them slightly different from one another. One common thing to do is to simply change the element of damage skills and the states being applied for debuff skills. And should you decide to combine some of the damage skills with debuff skills, coming up with the cost is much easier given the template setup too. That way we can make things consistent instead of all over the place too. You're right. So, environment template. What about the template skills that are used to affect the player or the surroundings? That's a pretty good question. Those are a bit of a unique case when it comes to template skills. The events used when running them will often vary depending on their uses. But one of the more immediate effects that is universally useful is a return to town type of effect. It would be pretty safe to make a few of those. I thought those required plugins to make. Ralph, it's just a transfer player event. Ralph is a bit too plugin reliant. The test class. So are we going to make classes now to put those skills into? Actually, no, we aren't. Instead, we'll just be making a single class that will have access to every one of those skills. With each actor set to this class, we'll play through the game and see which skills will be in demand more often. Excellent tactics. Oh, that's easy. They'll be using the ultimate special attacks each time. Ralph, we're supposed to be testing the game. Skill tally test. Because this class has access to every single skill, it will function as a tool for measuring. Measuring the number of times skills are used? That's right. As you play through parts of the game, I would suggest making a tally of how many times each skill was used. And every time you use a skill, you could just mark it on a piece of paper or a text file or something. And as you get done with it, look at how many times you've used each skill. And the skills that are used way more than others probably need to be nerfed, or the other skills need to be buffed. Then you can decide how to distribute the skills later based on the demands of the game. That's right. I see, that saves a lot of time then. But wouldn't it just result in the highest marks for the strongest skills? That's why you only use the skills the player would have access to at the time. Ralph, you're supposed to test the game, not destroy it. Small changes make big differences. Although the enemies I'm encountering remain untweaked, the feel of the game has already changed, right? Having access to all these skills made from the template makes me want to go in and design monsters with these skills. We'll have to be patient about that. We'll have to save enemy design in the following lessons so we don't overload ourselves with too much information. How about we just import all the monsters I've made from my previous project? Let's not go there, Ralph. A conscious review. So what are you up to now, Ralph? Oh, hey, Flying Dream. Nothing much, I'm just going back over my old game. After gaining all this new knowledge, I'm starting to realize how little I was aware of the way I was making my own game. It shocks me more that during these 5 years, none of these ideas that Yanfly presented had even came to my mind. And even worse, I could have easily asked about this and found my way too. I guess my pride in figuring out and doing everything all by myself got in the way. A promise to oneself. But I've made myself a promise. One day, after I'm a more experienced game maker, I'll return back to my old game and finish it. Not just that, I'll remake it in ways that will surpass my own expectations. Something to be proud of. Ha! Enjoy. Thank you so much, Yanfly, for the awesome comics. And if you enjoyed these comics, please go to Yanfly's video and like his video of the comics. Maybe leave a comment in his video. And if you like my narration, you can thumbs up this video. But links to his website, to this place, will be in the description. And links to his video of this with just no audio, just music, will be in the description for you guys to check that out. So you have multiple ways to enjoy this awesome artwork. But sorry for the terrible voice acting on certain characters. I do my best, do what I can do. If you liked it, like it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I have lots of RPGMMV tutorials. I've got Game Maker Studio 2 tutorials. I play classic RPGs and analyze them to see the systems in the game and maybe talk about ideas of how we can recreate that in MV as I'm going throughout the game. But if you're interested in any of that, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters. You guys keep the wheel spinning. I really love you guys so much. Thank you. That's about it for this video. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.